Right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our discovery session. We've come together to show you some new programs and opportunities on how to get involved in 2025, but also beyond that. And I, first of all, want to thank the whole community because we've been active for almost 10 years now, and all of this wouldn't have been possible without our great community and everyone who is always so active and engaged and is helping us to take Impact Week to the next level. And they've also helped to set up this call. So I really want to thank everyone who was involved. Yeah, what is today about? We would like to show everyone who's new what Impact Week is all about, what we have achieved in the past years, but also in the past months, and give some examples of some Impact Weeks that have happened. We want to show you our programs, not just the ones that we've been running, but also the ones that we're currently testing and developing. And then we want to give you an overview of how you, or if you're here as a representative of a company, how your company can become a part of Impact Week. And of course, I want to also give you some time for questions and answers. Let's start with Impact Week. Impact Week is a social nonprofit company. We're based in Berlin, but we act globally, and our mission is to help transform local problems into solutions and create meaningful impact in the global south through user-centric design. And we're really proud that we equip local leaders with practical methodologies such as design thinking, agile thinking, and that we inspire a lot of young people to really actively change the future in their communities. We're a proud member of the Social Entrepreneurship Network in Germany, and we've also been awarded to be an excellent place in the land of ideas by the German government in 2018. And here's a little overview over our impact over the past 10 years. It's actually our 10-year anniversary. We started in Kenya, but since then we've been to 17 other different countries. We've organized 54 events in total. We've generated 850, or our participants mainly generated 850 ideas. And we have trained over 1,500 corporate and local junior coaches across the world. And all in all, we've impacted over 4,900 young people, across the globe. I would like to dive into what we do in specific. We have 3 programs, and we want to really provide an end-to-end innovation journey from the first idea to a market-ready impact. The first event that we're hosting is the Impact Week. This was started 10 years ago, so this is really where the ideas begin. We work on local problems and create solutions within a 4-day innovation challenge. And this is designed for teams who don't have an idea yet. And they come into this experience completely without any sustainable ideas, open to the process. And after the innovation challenge, they have a pitch and a prototype. The Impact Ignition program, which is our second program, is where we turn these early ideas into solutions. So this is for teams that already have an idea and want to now implement this into a sustainable business. This is for building products and building businesses. And it consists of a 5-day intensive training as well as a mentorship journey. And lastly, we have the Impact Lab, which is for early stage startups. And here we really hope to empower them to scale their social business. And this also consists of a 5-day bootcamp and a mentorship phase. Some of the people in the audience know the classic Impact Week. We have some senior coaches here as well that have been coaching. An Impact Week is a 7-day event. Well, rather 11 days that you're on site, but 7 days in the training. And it takes place in countries of the Global South and connects a diverse group of people from academia, the industry, but also the civil sector from across the globe, and it combines doing good with learning and applying critical business skills, in particular design thinking, but also intercultural competence, solution or problem-solving competences, and others. Impact Week starts with a 3-day Train the Coach. Here we train employees of local universities, as well as NGOs, social enterprises, and international corporations in design thinking. And they first get some input through an input session from one of the most experienced senior coaches. And then in smaller groups, they actually apply the first methods, they test them out. I compare it a little bit to learning a game where you get an explanation and then you really try it and get your hands onto the subject. And yeah, we're really proud that we're accredited as for educational leave in Germany, particularly for Hamburg, Schleswig-Holstein, and Berlin. And we're also a member of the Global Design Thinking Alliance. So as one of the few non-academic members, so I think this also highlights the value of the training that we give. And after the initial Train the Coach, we have an Impact Week challenge. Here, the freshly trained coaches get a chance to apply what they've learned, and they coach in intercultural tandems. They guide a team of young students through the design thinking process, and they work on real local challenges. These challenges, for us, it's very important. These challenges are social and ecological challenges that are suggested by our local partner to make sure that they are really relevant in the local context. And we finished the whole thing with a pitch day. Here, our teams get to show their prototype and pitch their idea to a jury of a diverse group of people. We've been very proud to have ambassadors, mayors of the local city, local GIZ offices, but also local innovation experts or entrepreneurs. And after the pitch session, we host a roadshow where the students can then, kind of like a trade fair, show their prototype, engage with the jury members, but also engage with others, answer some questions, and really, present their idea a little bit more closely to everyone who's interested, and hopefully also get in touch. One of the recent events that we hosted was an Impact Week in Uganda in collaboration with the Social Innovation Academy called SINA. This took place in Mpigi in February this year. And in total, we trained 24 junior coaches, 7 of which were international corporates, and 17 were local junior coaches from different SINA communities. SINA is, their purpose is to create local communities and really empower these communities and train them. So collaborating with Impact Week was a great fit. And currently, they also work very closely with the refugee camps in and around Uganda. So we had 77 participants from these SINA communities, but also from the nearby refugee camps. And in total, the participants created 12 ideas. And we also have some upcoming Impact Weeks that might be exciting for those of you who are new. We'll actually host one in South Africa next week in Cape Town. Then our local partner, the African Nazarene University, is hosting their own independently organized Innovation Week in Nairobi. We have Impact Weeks in the Philippines and Peru coming up in November. And then we're already planning for next year. So we have a Jubilee Impact Week in Kenya and an Impact Week in Uganda, again with our local partner in PG. Any questions so far before I head to the next program?
Yes. What about the Impact Week in Ghana in September, end of September?
This is an Impact Ignition program. I will get to that in a moment. Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually a really great way of jumping into the next program that we have. This is the Impact Ignition program. There's even a picture from a past Impact Week in Ghana. This is our 5-day intensive training where we focus on the implementation of ideas. And here we connect local teams with mentors to really take their idea to the next stage. And again, it's not just about mentoring, but it's also about gaining business skills and innovation skills along the way. We start with a 5-day boot camp. This is an hands-on training where the idea stage entrepreneurs learn how to validate their ideas. They build a business model and build their product. And the mentors support them along the way. And we also have some voices from a past experience where Nicole Straube from Time Matters said that these exercises really helped her to gain an understanding of each department's role within her own company when she observed the startups and the way they work. So these skills are not just applicable for startups and founders, but also for corporate partners. Then we have the mentorship phase. Here we offer peer-to-peer support. We offer coaching sessions through the mentors, and we also have input sessions for the startups planned where they get some more insights from experienced speakers. And on our platform, we also offer a learning journey for the startups. As a past program, we have the example of the Impact Week in Colombia, which was collaborating with the Lab of Tomorrow. Here we started with a normal Impact Week, but now the 11 ideas that were created were offered to take their ideas to the next stage and get support with the implementation from industry mentors. And this happened in collaboration with the Universidad Autónoma de Occidente, Lab of Tomorrow, and the local GIZ, as well as the German Chamber of Commerce. And this event took place in Cali in June, but the mentorship phase is still ongoing, and we've just onboarded the startups onto our platform, and they've been matched with local mentors, and we're really hoping to see some growth from the teams. And then this is what you've been asking about, Nicole. We have an upcoming program, which is the Impact Ignition program in Ghana. This will be hosted from the 29th of September to the 4th of October in Accra. And we have a 6-month mentorship journey after that. So up until April, we will be conducting those input sessions, peer-to-peer sessions, both for mentors and for the startups. And our local partner here is the Heritage Christian University, and we're planning with 11 startups and 22 mentors in total. Coming to the Impact Ignition program, that is basically the next step. The program framework is very similar to the Impact Ignition program. The main difference is the stage of the startups and therefore also which types of activities we cover during the mentorship and the bootcamp. So here again, we connect the social startups to mentors and organize a 5-day innovation bootcamp with a mentorship phase. Here in the bootcamp, we mainly focus on achieving product market fit, helping the teams to become investor ready and to scale their business more sustainably. And again, we have industry mentors that then support the startups, not just during the bootcamp, but beyond that. We have the voice from Rose, who founded Tryst Travels. She participated in our Impact Lab in Bangalore, and she said that she realized that what we are trying to do regarding sustainability is really important, and she's really empowering the local community with her travel business, and had an amazing time and is now scaling and promoting her business across the world with the help of her mentors. And here again, we have a mentorship phase. It's very similar to the one with the Impact Ignition program with input sessions and virtual learning journey on our platform. And we're trying to meet frequently with the mentors to also give them some insights into agile coaching, brave dialogue, giving feedback, and other useful skills to really become great mentors and coaches. Here is an example of our recent event. This was our Impact Lab in Bangalore in collaboration with the Help Alliance. It took place in March, and we had 9 startups that took part in it, from startups that were focusing on waste management to startups that are focusing more on education, or like the example of Tris, who has a sustainable tourism company active in Meghalaya, the northeastern region of India, which is still not very developed in terms of tourism. And we engaged 16 mentors in total. And our next step is basically a pitching event for the startups on 10th of October for investors and yeah, connections, grants, and other support. We also have an upcoming event planned. Here we're focusing on the Impact Lab in Porto, which will take place from 13th to 17th of October. And it will also be organized in collaboration with the Help Alliance and Lufthansa Ground Services in Portugal. We've planned to include 10 startups in this event and about 20 mentors. Yeah, how can you get involved in Impact Week? We have a few options, but first I want to ask if there's any questions about the programs. I noticed there's one message in the chat, but it's not a question. So yeah, is there anyone who has any questions to the current programs that we're running, or should I move on? Okay, perfect. You'll have some more time in case they come up. Sorry, yes.
I would have a question.
Please, yeah.
You mentioned these follow-up programs after the original Impact Week. Does design thinking itself still plays a role in these programs?
Definitely. It's not as predominant as in the Impact Week itself, where really the whole program focuses on design thinking, but user-centric design is still a big part of both programs. In the Impact Ignition program, especially where we're trying to validate the idea and really, build the product, go back to the customer and ask them, is this really what you want? Is this what you have imagined? And later in the Impact Lab, we are in a similar situation where we talk to the customers and see if we are actually reaching the customers that we thought we would reach, because a lot of the startups might not be aware if their product is actually used by the desired user group or if they're actually reaching somebody completely different, and therefore if their market is completely different. So we're definitely looking into design thinking and user-centric design in all three programs. But the focus for design thinking is mostly in the Impact Week, and in the other programs, it is an aspect, but not the main focus.
Okay.
Dennis, you also have a question?
Hi, Caroline. I would also like to ask, you mentioned the global South. So which countries or continents does this include? So I'm assuming you're not conducting like programs in Europe, for example. And how do you choose actually the countries, which I also find very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Global South, well, there's many words to describe Global South. We've moved away from third world or other derogatory terms. So Global South is a term that is widely used in collaboration with countries in the Global South. It's not just geographically below the equator, but it's mainly countries that are still developing and are mostly located below the equator, but it doesn't have to be. So we also had Impact Weeks in Europe, actually, or in countries that would maybe geographically not be part of the Global South, but would still kind of fit into that category of being in a developing stage. We've run programs in Albania, for example, and we've run a program in Greece with refugees, where, of course, we still had that relationship with the Global South because this is where most of the refugees were coming from. But yeah, you noticed we also have an Impact Lab in Porto. Here it's mostly about fostering sustainable innovation. But generally, we focus more on South America, Africa, and the Asian continent. And how we choose the countries, it really depends, I would say. We sometimes choose them based on a country or a local partner approaching us and saying, hey, we're really interested, we would love this program. Can we co-organize this? We've also had instances where we had previous volunteers that were interested in organizing something and had a contact locally and then set something up. And the third option is clients approaching us and saying, hey, we would be interested in running a program like this and supporting something. Would you be able to reach out to institutions and see who would be interested in running a program together with us? So yeah, it comes from different directions, but mostly from a need or an interest in getting something started there.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
not proactively from our side. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I would dive into how you can get involved, and then we can answer some more questions at the end. For Impact Week, we have, I'd say, 3 main components of getting involved. One is to train, one is to contribute, and one is to empower. For the Impact Week, the training aspect is mainly for participants, student participants who want to co-create on local solutions. But you can also be trained as a junior design thinking coach and learn and apply design thinking in a social context. We also have a more or less new approach where we take the training to the next step and train people to become a more experienced design thinking coach, where they're involved more with the expert team and really shadow them and observe how they coach and develop their own coaching style. In terms of contributions, we're looking mostly at track mentors. These are companies or partners that bring local challenges. For us, it's very important that these are social or ecological challenges and have a benefit for the students, and that the students really own the ideas. But the track mentors can be a really good source of information on how the current state of the problem is in the local country, or for example, getting access to experts or to a user group. Then we have the Impact Ignition program. Here again, training is mostly for students or young entrepreneurs that want to turn their idea into a solution. But you can also participate as a mentor and help a team with your expertise and really guide them through the process. And here again, we're looking for partners, partner institutions, but also companies that are willing to support either by sending mentors or by sponsoring the program. And then we have the Impact Lab. Here again, we're looking at startup founders in the early stage, mostly social and ecologically focused. They don't have to be nonprofit startups because for us, it's mostly important that they have a social impact, not necessarily that they're a nonprofit incorporated company. And then we're looking for industry mentors to also participate in the exercises of the bootcamp and guide the teams with their expertise. And in terms of contributions, here again, we're looking for corporate partners who want to connect with us and connect to the social startups. Maybe there's even a potential for a collaboration or corporate clienting. And who are interested in co-creating those solutions with us. And finally, empowering is going out to all of our organizers and local partners. Here we always need support in setting up the Impact Weeks and in organizing them, but also with volunteers such as design thinking experts or startup coaches. The more close opportunities to join are the Impact Ignition program in Ghana. We had 1 cancellation for a mentor, so there's 1 open slot. We have the Impact Lab in Portugal, where we are still looking for Portuguese social startups and for corporate mentors. We're also looking for volunteers to help us with the program. And finally, we have the Impact Weeks in the Philippines and in Peru, where we're looking for junior coaches who want to be trained in design thinking, and for corporate partners. I will dive a little bit deeper into each what each component means. So training your employees as junior design thinking coaches means that you would be trained in a user-centric method. It's mainly for product developers, innovation managers, and marketing personnel, but it's also been used by other people. Design thinking can be used across functions, but we really recommend that it's someone who has an idea of how they can apply design thinking in their future job. And it consists of a 3-day training and a 4-day practice. We recommend 11 days on site. And like I mentioned, with the educational leave, it is also possible to get 5 days for the training through the educational leave. And yeah, you can, after the training, you can access our design thinking community for additional learnings. We're uploading content on our community platform. And it's a great way for intercultural exposure and networking with like-minded people from either your own company, but also other companies and local nonprofits and yeah, innovation experts. So it's a really nice pool of like-minded people that are all working on innovation. For employees who want to become senior coaches, this is a more advanced training that would give a better understanding of the design thinking method. Here, the focus is on improving the coaching style. They can join one of the senior coaches or move between different coaches to learn how their coaching style works, to learn additional tools, and to also observe how the coaches tackle problems during the coaching sessions, for example, to really get more and deeper insights. And here again, the benefit is to work in the intercultural team and to get access to yeah, our global community and yeah, people interested in social innovation. Becoming a track mentor means to sponsor a challenge during an Impact Week. It can be a challenge that is relevant to a business or a nonprofit company, a challenge that they're currently already working on. It is also an opportunity to reach out to young students. I have an example for this year in South Africa. We're working with Harambee. They are a provider for a platform that brings employers and students together, or young people from South Africa. And they want to bring more people into employment. So they're sponsoring the challenge of employability and the connection between employers and employees. And yeah, they're visiting us in our Impact Week. They're providing some information for the students, give them access to some users of their platform, but also to some experts in the field. And they really want to encourage them to find some suitable ideas that then the students own. But Harambee, of course, gets some insights through the design thinking process where the students went out and did user interviews, so they can also gain some valuable information. And then we have participants that want to participate in our design thinking challenge. This is mostly for people who want to apply design thinking firsthand and create their own solutions from the ground up. And they will then basically go through the process in 4 days. They need to be able to speak English. In some countries, we also offer a bilingual workshop. For example, in Colombia, we did a bilingual workshop in Spanish and English. But mostly our programs are held in English. And yeah, these students should have a high motivation and interest in innovation, but they don't need to be experts in the field. Then for startups, we're looking mostly for, like I said, idea stage and early startups that want to be present during the 5 days in the bootcamp, which is mandatory. And then in the 6-month mentorship phase, they get connected to mentors. They will be provided feedback for their pitches, for business cases and market entry strategies. And yeah, our mentors are supposed to really help through becoming a sparring partner for the ideas, encouraging the startups when they're having difficult times, but also making connections that might be suitable to them and build the bridge to practice. So if they have any market knowledge, contacts, they can assist with that. And it's not limited to the 6 month, but this is what we're offering. So if you're really interested in supporting the startups after the 6 month, of course, you're open to do that as well. Yeah, as a local partner, you can co-host an Impact Week program at your institution. You become a Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We have an example of the African Nazarene University in Kenya, for example, that is now also a Global Design Thinking Alliance member and is hosting their own workshops yearly. They're really connected in the local innovation scene, and yeah, are really acknowledged for their efforts in innovation and entrepreneurship. They've also started a program for the startups to take their ideas to the next level. So this is what we're aiming for with our local partners, that they really have an interest in becoming a center for innovation and entrepreneurship. And as a local partner, you gain an opportunity to engage your students in a hands-on workshop. It's very interactive, and it's an opportunity to host international experts, junior coaches, jury members, and really create that unique atmosphere of an intercultural and intercompany exchange. And finally, we have the opportunity to join as a volunteer. This is for anyone who is an innovation expert or is seeking a change for everyday tasks. You can join either as a design thinking expert, a startup coach, or as an organizer to support us with our Impact Weeks. We take care of the logistics like hotel, transport, food, and the flights. And we provide a briefing, and you also get access to our international community. It's a really rewarding experience, and many of our volunteers come back when they have the time and volunteer for a second or a third time. And finally, we also have some sponsorship packages. If there are any companies that are interested, we can even create an exclusively branded Impact Week, with exclusive naming rights. It really depends on the needs of our sponsor or our corporate partners. But we're always really interested in getting some support. And of course, we would offer things in exchange, such as a junior coach training, depending on the amount of sponsorship, for 2 to multiple people. And then, of course, placing the brand logo in our promotional materials, branded banners in key areas, recognition during the opening and the closing ceremony, and then, of course, access to all of the pictures, videos. If they're interested, they can also participate as a jury member and distribute any promotional or educational materials. But here we would recommend to reach out to us directly, because we can give some more insights. We also have our Impact Week community, and I would like to thank Nicholas for putting together this nice animation. We've started a community for design thinkers, social innovators, our startups. And the reason for that is that design challenges often feel overwhelming when they're solved alone. And this is why we have a place where we want people to connect, to grow ideas, and actually implement solutions. And our community platform is supposed to be a place for innovation, entrepreneurship, and intercultural exchange. So we want to invite you to join us on our community platform. You can find the application link on our website. I can show in a moment where this is located, and we will also share this, of course, after the recording. I can post this in the chat in a moment. And it's a really nice place that offers connections to the startups that we're working with, both from the Impact Lab, but also the Lab of Tomorrow. We have forums where you can discuss different topics. You can reach out to members. We recently had a member from Germany who traveled to India. They reached out through the community platform and met up with other community members, which was really exciting. We can upload resources, and we post events there. And finally, we also manage all the applications through there. So we will post when there is volunteering opportunities, but also any kinds of news or junior coach slots that are open. And we also have our design thinking program where you can get more insights after having joined as a junior coach. So you can find more learnings on the platform. And yeah, we're really excited to see more of you on the platform. And now I would like to open the floor for any questions, comments. Yeah, it was really exciting to see some new faces, to answer your questions. Always shows that you're also interested, which I find really, yeah, really nice. And I'm happy, Nicole, that you're joining us very soon, in a month, roundabout. And Dennis, I hope you get an opportunity to join us as well at some point.
I hope so
Yeah.
too.
Have a nice day, everyone. In case you have any questions, you can always reach out to us through our Impact Week email address or yeah, through the platform if you want to try it out already. And then we wish you a really nice day and hope to see you all soon.